Alright. Welcome everyone. It's a new archaeological discoveries of March 2026 video. Yeah, so finally, I'm on time again with a new archaeological discovery. Last month I was about 2 weeks too late. But I'm back and everything's fine. We are going to just, jump right in and see how this goes. And I hope everyone's doing a swell time today. I'm doing all right. We don't have Kevin in the house. Kevin is still in the Caribbean for work, but it's fine. So I grabbed myself a nice Red Bull, got my other regular SodaStream drink. And let's fill at least an hour and a half, probably like 2-ish hours, with just new archaeological discoveries. And let's start off by, you can still join me in Turkey in September during the Ancient Wonders of Anatolia tour. And I highly recommend that you do, because we're going to see some of the most amazing things. But yeah, the link to that I shall share with everyone in the chat. There we go. I shall pin it. Look at me, I'm almost a real streamer. No, I'm not, but it's fine, We all know I'm a shit streamer. Yeah, it's just, it is what it is, people. Like, yeah, I'll never be a real streamer, and that's fine. I don't need to be. Okay, so I got a couple fun ones. I usually grab my new archaeological discovery stuff from Heritage Daily. I think their site is very nice. They give good overviews of a discovery. Not really the in-depth stuff that you see with new archaeological discovery videos on the channel, because those are deep dives. And this is just more of an overview of what they discovered. So, we just entered April, which means we need to look at the discoveries from last month, March of 2026. And let's start with a fun one. Submerged cave remains point to an 8,000-year-old burial site. And I believe this was in Mexico. So let's jump right in. So a newly discovered prehistoric skeleton found deep inside a flooded cave along Mexico's Caribbean coast may mark a burial site at least 8,000 years old, according to underwater archaeologists working in the region. It was discovered at a depth of 8 meters within a submerged cave system that is part of a sprawling network of cenotes and underground rivers between the tourist hubs of Tulum and Playa del Carmen, which is awesome. The cave passages, which stretch kilometers under the Yucatan Peninsula, were dry towards the end of the last ice age, but were flooded some 8,000 years ago as sea levels rose. Underwater archaeologist Octavio Del Rio, who works with Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology and History, said, "The remains were recovered at the end of 2025 and are now being studied in detail. Given its location and depth, it could only have arrived there when the cave was dry." So I do think that that's a good thing to note. Like, the last ice age and everything that changed in the world, like Doggerland. Sorry. Apologies. Like, Doggerland. There we go. I'm not used to having the play button there. That was for a thing I did on Monday on Discord when I did some YouTube consultancy. I sometimes do some YouTube consulting stuff. Haven't really done it much in the past few years, but... Okay, sorry. Alright. I'm back. People, I'm back. Sorry. So, but yeah, a lot has changed in the world around 8,000 years ago when sea levels started to rise. You know, it happens. It's what happens when something like an ice age ends, and so there's more water, and that has to go somewhere. So sea levels rise. It's very normal. So the positioning of the skeleton provides key insights. Located on a sediment dune in a narrow space next to an interior chamber. The bones seem to have been deliberately located. The arrangement, according to Del Rio, suggests a funerary deposit. possibly linked to ritual practices carried out by early inhabitants of the region. Let me check the super chat real quick, sorry. Jim Ross, thank you so much. Being you is your superpower, your delivery is uniquely your own, the information you present is always interesting. A shit streamer, I don't think so. Entertaining, you bet. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Okay. So the discovery marks the 11th prehistoric human skeleton found in the area over the past 3 decades. Some previous finds are among the oldest human remains in the Americas, dating back more than 13,000 years. Researchers think that each new skeleton provides important data to understanding how ancient populations migrated and adapted to the Yucatan Peninsula, which used to be characterized by open plains and cliffs instead of today's jungle and coastline. That actually makes all the sense because, everything changes. Especially when the climate changes so much, we now see this lush jungle area when it used to not be like that at all. Like, not even a little bit. So, I forgot to do the Twitch, but we got the Twitch chat. For the people watching on Twitch, probably no one, but that's fine. I don't expect people to watch me on Twitch. So in addition to human fossils, the cave systems have provided remains of long-extinct megafauna, such as giant sloths, saber-toothed cats, and ancient bears, helping scientists to piece together Ice Age ecosystems. The discovery comes amid renewed conservation efforts to safeguard the delicate cenote systems that suffered environmental damage during construction of the Maya Train Railway project. I actually made a video on that railway project for the Maya train a couple of years ago. I think it was 2021. Let's just say it's not great. Like, yeah, it's good for tourism. So in a way, I understand why they're doing it, but also it's destroying ancient ruins. And that sucks, but okay. Mexican officials said they are working to designate the network of underground rivers as a protected natural and cultural heritage area by 2026, recognizing both its ecological vulnerability and its extraordinary archaeological significance. So, yeah, giant sloths were a thing in the Americas way back in the day. So, not many people know this, but yeah, giant sloth, like, they dug out entire like tunnel systems and stuff. Let me just giant sloth tunnels. Let's just this is insane. Like, these tunnels were dug out by giant sloths. It's crazy. It's definitely something that I need to probably make a video on in the future. But yeah, giant sloths, and they probably weren't as lazy as the sloths that we have today. Yeah, so I highly recommend, if you want to know more about like the giant sloth, Google it and just be amazed, because they were absolutely massive and they did not just sleep most of the day. Like, the sloths do that now, but back in the day it was completely different. So yeah, highly recommend checking that out. But okay, so that was the first discovery. Let's go to the next one. So we've got painted coffins of the Amun singers that were discovered in Luxor in Egypt. So a joint Egyptian archaeological mission has uncovered a remarkable cache of brightly painted coffins and 8 rare sealed vessels dating to the 3rd Intermediate period in Luxor. So this is awesome. The discovery took place in the southwest corner of the Asasif necropolis in the Kurna area on Luxor's west bank, which had long been a center for high-ranking officials and temple staff. The excavation is being carried out by a mission affiliated with the Supreme Council of Antiquities and the Zahi Hawass Foundation for Archaeology and Heritage. According to authorities, the find includes 22 wooden coffins stacked in multiple layers inside a rock-cut rectangular chamber that appears to have functioned as a funerary repository. The coffins were arranged in 10 horizontal rows, with lids separated from their bases to maximize space in the chamber. an indication that ancient embalmers carefully organized the burial cache to accommodate a larger number of individuals. Based on preliminary research, the coffins date back as far as the Third Intermediate Period, which was roughly between 10,070 and 664 BCE. Always with the BC. Shut up. You want to do archaeological stuff, Heritage Daily. It's BCE. We all know this. So this was between dynasties 21 and 25. Instead of names, most of the deceased have functional titles, which there is a common title, Singer of Amun. A frequently used title refers to women who helped perform temple rituals dedicated to the god Amun, who was one of the principal deities worshipped at nearby Karnak. A concentration of this title, researchers say, opens up additional perspectives on the religious and social function of temple vocalists in this intricate transitional time in ancient Egyptian history. In addition to the coffins and mummies, archaeologists uncovered a group of pottery vessels believed to have been used in mummification rites. The mission also identified 8 rare sealed containers placed inside a large ceramic vessel. Several still retain their original clay seals of varying sizes, raising hopes that they may contain intact organic or ritual materials. Experts describe the sealed jars as information treasure pending conservation and analysis. Minister of Tourism and Antiquities Sherif Fati said that the discovery is part of Egypt's ongoing work around archaeological research and heritage conservation, especially in Luxor, thought of as the world's biggest open-air museum. He said the coffins are currently undergoing urgent conservation treatment due to the fragile condition of the wood and painted plaster. Stabilized weakened fibers, consolidated flaking pigment layers, and careful mechanical cleaning were among the steps restoration personnel took to keep the vivid colors before the artifacts were transferred to secure storage. Zahi Hawass, the head of the expedition, described the find as an extraordinary addition to the record of Third Intermediate Period archaeology. Excavations and other investigations are ongoing as experts try to find the original tombs from which the coffins were relocated in order to piece together the entire story behind this carefully concealed funerary cache. I really love ancient Egyptian, all the work that we do there, all the excavations and the investigations and the research. I love it. So in here you can see that coffin again with all the colors. It looks really pretty. I mean, even thousands of years later, it still looks really pretty. Those Egyptians knew what they were doing. Okay, I'm going way faster than I expected. I was like, it's going to be like half an hour before I reach the third discovery. I'm only streaming for less than 14 minutes, and we're already ahead of schedule. So, hey, applause for us. Okay, anything fun in the chat? No, chat's chill. Okay, good. Chill chat, I love it. So we've got a Siberian petroglyph a Siberian petroglyph discovery that reshapes understanding of ancient rock art. I do love myself a really good petroglyph. I can't help it. I'm just a Stone Age nerd. So like a petroglyph, something carved in stone, I like it. I'm just a stone nerd. Archaeologists conducting rescue excavations in southern Siberia have uncovered an exceptional series of petroglyphs that is reshaping scholarly understanding of ancient rock art in the Republic of Khakassia. According to the press service of the Institute of the History of Material Culture of the Russian Academy of Sciences, the discovery were made at the Ust-Kamishta I and Kamishta III burial grounds in the Askiski. The excavations were conducted between 2021 and 2023 by the Sion Archaeological Expedition during rescue operations designed to document and preserve threatened cultural heritage sites. Used continuously for more than 3,000 years from the early Bronze Age in the 3rd millennium BCE through to early CE. Come on, guys, we don't do BC and AD anymore. We haven't done that in science for such a long time. Stop. Let's take the Christian religion out of all scientific, like out of the entire scientific sphere. Like this, it's 2026, people. We really don't need this anymore. So the burial grounds contain funerary complexes associated with nearly every major archaeological culture identified in Caucasia. The most notable discoveries from the recent fieldwork include 10 stone slabs inscribed with petroglyphs, that are pictures that have been directly gouged into stone surfaces. So, like I said, engraved or carved or whatever you want to call that. In the majority of the region, petroglyphs are spotted on exposed cliffs and rock outcrops, so dating them accurately is extremely difficult. These newly explored examples, however, were found within sealed burial mounds. I like that. So, sealed burial mounds, you can date things in them, even though it's stone, because you know when the burial mound was at least sealed, when everything inside was last exposed to light by optical stimulant luminescence dating, which is literally shining light on quartz to detect when it was last exposed to sunlight. It's a really good way of dating like fossilized footprints and anything else in like stone material. So because they were located in closed archaeological contexts, researchers were able to impose solid chronological frameworks with associated grave goods, construction features, and stratigraphic evidence. Most of the slabs are dated to the early Iron Age, around the 8th century BCE to the 2nd century CE, and they belong to the Tagar and Tessin cultures, which are two major cultural forms in the Minusinsk Basin and local territories. A comparative analysis was a key component of the study. The team explored stylistic and thematic similarities between the burial mound petroglyphs and established rock art panels found in the open-air cliff sites in the Minusinsk Basin. Wow, what a name, Minusinsk. Somehow, that's not easy to pronounce for me, I don't know why. They also looked at carved pictures of weapons and tools like daggers, chisels, and bows in relation to real artifacts found in burials from the same time frame in support of chronological attributions. 6 of the 10 slabs feature elaborate narrative moments. The earlier ones, as they are known, are part of the Tagar culture and include dynamic hunting motifs. One especially striking scene depicts a human figure and a dog chasing a large animal that may possibly symbolize real prey or a mythological animal. The petroglyphs related to the later Tessin culture, however, may indicate a move towards abstraction. We do like abstraction here. The carvings reflect spirals, labyrinthine motifs, and simplified anthropomorphic forms. Researchers believe the slabs reached the burial mounds through multiple pathways. Some appear to have been deliberately incorporated into grave constructions, possibly created specifically for funerary rituals. And others were found broken, overturned, or reused as building material, suggesting that later communities occasionally transformed older carved stones, stripped of their original sacred meaning. Because these petroglyphs originate from securely dated burial contexts, they now serve as vital chronological benchmarks. The findings provide a rare opportunity to anchor the broader rock art tradition of southern Siberia within a more precise historical timeline, offering new clarity to the cultural development of the region across centuries. So, yay, southern Siberia. I do like it when we have archaeological discoveries from areas of the world that not necessarily are normally overlooked, but not given as much screen time as like Egypt. Everyone knows about like ancient Egypt or the Maya or the Aztecs or the Inca, or you know what I mean, like the Greeks, the Romans. They always had a spotlight when it comes to like screen time and everything. So a lot of funding goes into archaeological work from what has the spotlight. And there's not much funding going towards areas in the world that aren't as big or as famous. So I think it's good. Southern Siberia, this was nice. And I have no idea what we're looking at here in this petroglyph. This might be that human with the dog. It's possible. No idea what the hell I'm looking at, but maybe you know. So let me know. All right, so that's 3 discoveries down already. Look at us. We're just chugging along, which is nice. So we have ancient human and animal footprints that were discovered on Scottish beach after storms. Now, we do like Scotland on my channel. I've covered Scotland quite a bit throughout the years. And I do love myself a good fossilized footprint. So here on Discord, I have my status officially as fossilized footprints are awesome. No, I do not have a foot fetish. Feet are really nasty to me. But fossilized footprints, honestly, they're awesome. And they tell us so much. So, yeah. It was William the Wallace. Ah, yes, the petroglyph. You're right. That was definitely William the Wallace. I agree. Or this was William the Wallace, because it's in Scotland. Oh, that's also possible. Yeah. Archaeologists have documented a rare set of ancient footprints on a Scottish beach after powerful storms eroded the coastline and briefly exposed a 2,000-year-old archaeological site. Now, we do like to see this. The remarkable finding was made at Lunan Bay in Angus, where local residents Ivor Campbell and Jenny Snedden found the prints while walking their dogs. Thank you so much, Mr. Jono, for the super chat. The two realized early on wow, I can't speak. Okay, let's do that again. Let's circle back. The two realized early on the unusual layer of clay recently uncovered along the shore after recent storms that those markings in it might not be random at all. Experts were alerted as more storms threatened to destroy the fragile site, as it was recognized how significant the find might be. Archaeologists from the University of Aberdeen, led by Professor Kate Britton, rushed to the location to examine and record the prints. Working against time and in difficult conditions, including winds reaching 55 miles per hour, which is quite a lot, the team carefully documented the site before it disappeared. Professor Britton said that the team knew they were dealing with an extremely rare discovery. I mean, can you imagine walking on the beach and then discovering fossilized footprints, knowing that another storm is like around the corner? Wow. And Sigmund the Sea Monster, it's not before Christ, because we don't do religion on this channel. Religion has nothing to do with the history as a whole. And my focus is Stone Age history, which was way before even anyone thought of Christ or the Christian God or anything like that. It's like, it's not even a conversation that is needed here. So, yeah, no. It's BCE, before Common Era, and it's CE, Common Era. So, about 2,000 years ago, that's the cutoff point from BCE going into CE. Done. And Christians are not the majority when it comes to, like, religion on this planet. And then again, not even everyone is religious. So, like, let's just not. I like the people that are Hindu. I like the people that believe in Islam. I like the people who believe in the Torah. I don't care what you believe in. That's your thing. But we're talking about like scientific stuff here. So how does a person leave a footprint? This is a good question. Are they stepping in lava? No. So the conditions have to be like perfect, which means that the soil must be wet, but not too saturated, and also not too dry. And if a footprint gets made and the sun bakes it perfectly, so like I said, that's why it can't be too wet and it can't be too dry, but if the sun then bakes that layer of that footprint, it can harden like stone. And then it gets covered by other sediments, and it continues to harden like stone over time. So it fossilizes. It's literally like you doing that clay footprint with your kid or like you as a kid made a clay handprint or a footprint, and then, you let it dry. It's kind of like that, just the conditions in nature have to be actually perfect for that to happen, which is why we don't have too many fossilized footprints around the world. We haven't discovered many, but the ones that we have discovered have all been made in this fashion. So it's a really beautiful natural process, and that is why I find fossilized footprints to be absolutely amazing, because every time we find them, it tells us a lot about the people who left these footprints. So yeah, hope that helps. I also have a fossilized footprints playlist on my YouTube channel. So here you can go to playlists, and let's see where, here, 9 videos, fossilized footprints. You've got the whole playlist. This is the overview video of nearly 2 hours long, which contains all the videos I have made. So I've got 8 videos on fossilized footprints that were discovered. And this is the 9th one, but that's just one video containing all of these other 8 videos inside of it. So either you can click that one, or you can watch every one of them whenever you feel like it. So yeah, highly recommend. I love fossilized footprints. Can't talk enough about it. Honestly, wish I could talk more about it. But yeah, we don't really have many discoveries from them. And maybe I will make a quick video about this discovery to just add it into the playlist. Because, kind of deserves its own place. Yeah. All right, back to the discovery. So Professor Britton said the team knew they were dealing with an extremely rare discovery. No, like I just said, it's not a foot fetish. Feet are nasty. They're stinky, they're ugly, they're hairy, they're weirdly shaped. I do not like foot. I do not like feet. I do not like my feet. Feet are just ugh. But fossilized footprints, they're awesome because they tell us a lot. So, yeah. Okay, so we knew we were dealing with a really rare site and that this discovery offered a unique snapshot in time, just like I said. But it was also clear that the sea would soon take back what had so recently been revealed. So here you can see her and her team. Initial analysis suggests that the footprints date back roughly 2,000 years to the late Iron Age. Radiocarbon dating of organic material in sediments beneath the clay layer helped establish the age of the site. According to archaeologists, the impressions include both human and animal tracks, offering a rare glimpse of life along Scotland's coast during the Iron Age. Professor Gordon Noble of the University of Aberdeen said that the dates correspond with what researchers already know about the region's archaeological past. The late Iron Age dates are in keeping with what we know about the rich archaeology of nearby Lunan Valley, he explained. It's very exciting to think that these prints were made by people living around the time of Boudica's revolt and centuries before the Picts appear in the historical record. Really, really awesome stuff. Researchers also identified animal tracks among the prints, including those from red deer and roe deer, suggesting that the coastal area was used by both people and wildlife at the time. Despite the team's effort, the site was short-lived, unfortunately. So within 48 hours of the discovery, the sea had reclaimed the exposed clay surface and the ancient footprints it held. However, detailed documentation of the prints ensures the brief glimpse into Scotland's distant past will still contribute valuable information to archaeologists studying the region's history. So yeah, this is, it's very sad when something like this happens. You finally have fossilized footprints. Like I said, we don't discover them very often. And then within 48 hours, they were just gone again. Just poof, gone. And that's so sad. It's so sad. Yeah, it sucks. It really sucks. But you know what? Shit happens. It's part of life. It's part of science. It's part of everything. There's nothing that you can really do, honestly. Like, you can hope and document as much as you can, but you can't really preserve them when they're this close to the sea. And when sea levels rise again because a storm is surging, you can't do much. So yeah. But I do think it was a really awesome discovery, and therefore I wanted to share that with you. So yeah. They found tracks, of course. They did not just find one footprint. They set ancient human and animal footprints as in plural. So they found human footprints, plural, and animal footprints, plural. And from like at least 2 types of deers. So a red deer and roe deer. So yeah. That was really awesome. So archaeologists find an ancient village with rock carvings in northern Mexico, which is also awesome. I really like the discoveries from Mexico recently. Like, there's been quite a few, honestly, in the last couple months. I do think that that's good. More funding is going into archaeological research in Mexico. Happy to hear that. So archaeologists in northern Mexico have uncovered the remains of an ancient village that predates the well-known archaeological site of Cerro de Trincheras, along with 2 sites containing rock carvings during excavation work connected to a major railway project in the state of Sonora. Again, the Maya train railway. You're gonna cry when you actually see what they want to do with this. Like, it goes straight through the jungle. It's going straight through ruins at times. Let's see if we can... where did I find that picture from like a couple of years ago when they showed like the map of it? Oh yeah, here. Okay, so yeah, they want to connect the entire Yucatan Peninsula through a railway line with like the rest of Mexico. Awesome, fun. The main problem is that it goes straight through numerous archaeological sites that are known, but also hundreds, not dozens, but hundreds of ancient ruins that are currently unknown. And they do not have time to do any proper excavations at about 95% of these unknown sites. So imagine these workers that need to like lay out this railway system. They just have to build it. And they're on a time schedule. So there's a time crunch, which means that if they find and stumble upon like ruins, they do not have the time to alert the authorities and start excavations. They just need to continue building their railway, which means that they are just damaging and destroying some of these ancient ruins. And so normally when you do like an excavations or you stumble upon ancient ruins or you find them with LiDAR, then archaeologists go to the ground and they will write everything down as they find it in situ, meaning the way they discovered it. Like everything, like every stone is described in situ. If in like 50 years, this railway system, it's a bust, it breaks down, they stop using it, and let's now just do some excavations at these ruins, there's almost nothing left in situ because of the fact that this railway and these workers destroyed it. So the archaeological context of these unknown sites are just completely lost. There are still Mayan villages, Mayan descendants that still speak the language, still live in the old-fashioned ways. They have their own unknown ruins, like unknown to archaeologists, unknown to the rest of the world. These ruins, they are protected by these Mayan villages. So what you can do is sometimes you can stay with these villages for like a night or two, and you help them out a little bit, like you help them with like cooking or cleaning or whatever. And then they might take you to some of those ruins that are protected by them, like in the following day, which is awesome. And probably what I will be doing somewhere next year, because I am trying to get like a Mexico tour ready for the channel for like people that may want to join me in Mexico and see ancient ruins. And then we will go to one of those villages where Mayan descendants are living. They still speak the language. They still worship the old gods. And they will take us to some of these ruins that are protected by their village. They will not tell archaeologists or outsiders about these ruins just all willy-nilly, because they want to protect these ruins. They don't want excavations to take place there because those sites are holy for them. And to imagine that this railway system is just bulldozing through these ruins and destroying them, losing all archaeological context, all artifacts within, it's a shame. It really is a shame. And in 2021, I made my video about this. I think I have that somewhere on the channel as well. Yeah. Thousands of unexplored Mayan ruins in danger. So here we have that video. Copy that link. And I will throw that in the chat here and here. Let's see if that works. Not sure if it works on TikTok, but at least those are the Mayan ruins. But yeah, it's really a shame. So yeah, the train has unfortunately already been approved. It got approved in 2021. It's been 4.5 years since it was approved. My video is about 4.5 years old. And yeah, they're still continuing to bulldoze all over these ruins. And how long is it? 65 kilometers? Yeah. So it's not good. It's not good. It's very sad. And yeah, there's nothing we can do to stop them. There's not going to be a UNESCO saying all these sites are now heritage, like protected heritage sites, because yeah, that's the problem. They can't build over or around them. No, because that railway, that's the problem with trains. These trains need to like drive a certain speed, which means that there can't be many bends in there. Like, yeah, as you can see, there's going to be a couple bends, but most of it is going to be as straight as possible so that the train is going as fast as possible to take all those tourists to a couple of the ancient sites in the Yucatan Peninsula so that Mexico can make more money off of tourism. It's all about money in the world, people. Unfortunately, this world is going to the shits. Yeah, it's really sad. And I don't think this is ever going to stop. Like, this is just going to get worse and worse and worse. And that's why I support people in, like, Turkey. That's why I do my Turkey tour. We actually do fundraising and charity work in Turkey. So we send kids to school that otherwise have nothing as they live in mud brick houses. But sending those kids to school gives them a chance at an actual future in this day and age. And in Turkey, they're trying to do tourism the right way. Not saying that they're doing perfectly, but at least they're trying. And tourism in Turkey hasn't been as booming as, for instance, Egypt or Mexico. So that's why I want to sit at the front lines of tourism in Turkey and hope to do things the right way. I take my groups to a lot of these ancient sites and we go in chronological order and we show excavations as archaeologists are working on the ground. You can ask archaeologists questions, things that you want to know. And it's really a great way to have a bigger and better understanding of actual archaeological work, but also understanding what goes into protecting a site. So yeah, that's why I do this. But okay, back to the village in Mexico. Unfortunately, the Maya train railway, it sucks. But yeah. The discoveries were made in the valley and canyon of the Cocospera River near the United States border with Arizona. Specialists from Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology and History identified the settlement named La Cienega as part of the Trincheras cultural tradition and likely dating between CE 800 and 1200. The findings emerged during an archaeological salvage project linked to the construction of the Imuris Nogales Railway Bypass, project overseen by Mexico's Ministry of National Defense. Okay, so this is not on the Yucatan Peninsula with the Maya train railway, but still, I already know it's another Mexico railway. It's probably gonna connect to the Maya train railway project, even though this is like near Arizona and the other one is near the Yucatan Peninsula. But you can do the math. We know that they want to boom tourism, and we know that they want to have more railway projects so that more tourists can just hop on the train right outside the border of Arizona and just be swept into like the Yucatan Peninsula and see some of the ancient sites and then be swept back into the US and okay, bye again. But like all about money. So, yeah. It sucks. As part of the archaeological salvage of the Imuris Nogales Railway Bypass Initiative, the research has been carried out by a 6-member team from INAH's Sonora Center. Archaeologist Jupiter Martinez Ramirez presented the first results during a lecture in the INAH Coffee Afternoons series. According to Martinez Ramirez, the site had initially been identified in 2008, when researchers recorded 10 houses. However, recent construction activity exposed a much larger settlement. Archaeologists now estimate the plateau, measuring about 250 by 250 meters, could contain as many as 60 homes. That's quite a difference between 10 and 60. Quite a world of difference in the amount. But okay. So they are doing some archaeological work, but there's probably still going to be a railway smack dab on top or in the middle of it. So yeah. Evidence suggests that the residents used nearby fertile land along a tributary of the Cocospera River for agriculture. Excavations of 3 residential complexes revealed ceramics and 2 burial areas containing more than 100 human remains from the Trincheras tradition. Among the discoveries were around 40 traditional burials, in which individuals were placed in a flexed position, as well as 28 cremations inside ceramic vessels. Okay, so they found quite a bit here. Ugh, I need a sippy sip, because I'm talking way too much. Some burials included simple shell ornaments, while others show signs of cultural contact with the Hohokam people of the American Southwest. The houses themselves were oval or rectangular and semi-subterranean, with walls marked by simple stone alignments. These structures were built between 1 and 2.2 meters below ground level and were later expanded with earthen architectural additions as the settlement was reoccupied over time. We actually see this a lot. That older settlements, they get abandoned, and then like 100 or 200 years later, and sometimes even less than that, other people stumble upon the same area, and then they see some outcroppings of what used to be there, and then they just decide to continue building on top. We see this a lot in like Turkey as well. Like a lot. Okay. Within the residential compounds, internal walls created enclosed spaces resembling family neighborhoods where several generations likely lived together. Researchers believe La Cienega may have served as a border settlement where resources and cultural influences circulated between groups. In addition to the village, archaeologists documented 2 smaller settlements and 2 rock art sites. One of them, Babasak petroglyphs, features 6 panels stretching more than 200 meters, decorated with geometric and human figures. Another site, known as Bear Footprints, contains carvings resembling the tracks of bears inside a small cave. Although difficult to date precisely, the rock art is believed to have been created between 800 and 1400 CE. So yeah, that's good. But I don't like all the train railway systems in Mexico that are being constructed. Not a fan, but I think that was quite obvious at this point. A couple months ago, I made a video on the Shaman of Bad Dürrenberg, as you can see here. We will share this video on the TikToks. There you go. And also here on the Shaman Bad Dürrenberg video. Also in the chat here on the YouTubes. Because pollen analysis that was recently carried out indicates that the 9,000-year-old Shaman of Bad Dürrenberg burial was actually a floral burial, which I think is very important. I've got very irritated and inflamed glands, and that's annoying when I'm talking. Wow. It's like burning inside my skull. Fun. Do not have an autoimmune disease, if you can. Like, don't have the genes for that. And if you do, I feel sorry for you, because I know how much that sucks. So, yeah. Fun. New scientific research has shed fresh light on one of Central Europe's most remarkable archaeological discoveries, the 9,000-year-old grave of the so-called Shaman of Bad Dürrenberg in Germany. Recent pollen analysis suggests that the woman buried there may have been laid to rest surrounded by flowers, offering a rare insight into prehistoric burial rituals. The grave, located in the district of Saalekreis in Saxony-Anhalt, dates back to the Mesolithic period, and archaeologists believe that the burial belonged to a woman aged between 30 and 40 who was interred holding a 6-month-old infant. Artifacts such as a headdress made from deer antler and pendants crafted from animal teeth indicate that the woman likely held a special role within her community, possibly as a spiritual leader or a shaman. That's my whole premise of the video as well. Plus, of course, all the Nazi stuff that came with this. Because, yeah, those Nazis did get around quite a bit, unfortunately. The burial was discovered accidentally during sewer construction in 1934, since the excavation had to be finished up urgently within a single afternoon. Much of the surrounding burial pit was left untouched. Archaeologists came back to the site at Bad Dürrenberg Spa Park in 2019 in the run-up to a state garden demonstration. Their work showed that portions of the original burial pit, still stained with red ochre, had gone undisturbed for decades. Researchers carefully removed sections of the burial area for laboratory study. Among the discoveries were small but significant traces of pollen. Under microscopic analysis, pollen from several flowering plants were identified, including meadowsweet, mullein, buttercup, and devil's bit scabious. Devil's bit scabious? No idea. Plants known for their striking colors. I'm not a big plant person. Okay, so yeah, I have no clue when it comes to plants, especially not in like the English language compared to like my Dutch language. I already suck at plants in my own language. I got almost no clue when it goes into like the English language or like the Latin names, and it's not for me. No clue. So the concentration of pollen was especially noticeable around the head of the deceased. According to pollen analyst Elizabeth Entman from the State Office for Geology and Mining of Saxony-Anhalt, The flowers may have been placed around the woman's head during burial, or pollen may have become trapped in her hair while she was alive. Although the limited amount of pollen prevents a definitive conclusion, the findings strongly suggest that plants played a role in the burial ritual. Many of the identified plants are also known in the traditional herbal medicine. Birch leaves, buckthorn, hops, and lady's mantle, all found among the pollen remains, have long been used for treatments ranging from wound care to digestive remedies. The flowering periods of these plants may also reveal when the burial took place. Researchers believe that the strongest overlap in bloom times occurs in July, suggesting that the shaman was likely buried in mid-summer. Really awesome, by the way. The latest findings will feature a major exhibition titled The Shaman, opening on March 27, 2026 at the State Museum of Prehistory in Halle, where visitors will learn more about prehistoric spirituality and life during the Mesolithic era. Mesolithic era. I'm blonde. What do you expect? It's funny that you say autoimmune diseases are caused by excessive hygiene in childhood, because my autoimmune disease is a genetic disorder. I carry a gene called HLA-B27, and it results in ankylosing spondylitis. This is something that I was born with. This was in my genes for many generations. We don't know exactly if that was on my dad's side or on my mom's side, but we know that it definitely is a hereditary thing. So yeah, not every autoimmune disease is because in childhood you were very hygienic. I actually grew up dirt poor with a mom that completely neglected me. So that has absolutely nothing to do with it. So yeah, no, let's not pretend that, something like that. There's not a correlation between the two. Causation doesn't mean correlation. Okay? Let's remain scientific here. And there is no plant that will ease my suffering, because eventually I will die from this disease, probably. Because either my kidneys just stop functioning, or my liver stops functioning, or my ribcage fuses and I can't take my own breaths anymore. So yeah, this just sucks, and it's like a waiting game. And all I can do is try and live healthy and go to the gym. That's all I can do. Try and be as healthy as possible, which is not healthy because I have been sick my entire life apparently, and go to the gym and move my body as much as I can, even though I often get flare-ups, and I'm currently in a flare-up. I've been in a flare-up since returning from Peru, and I thought that this flare-up would, subside, and it doesn't, and I've had 2 injections of my medication since returning from Peru, and it's not really helped much. So this is probably my bad flare-up of the year. So yeah, shit happens. And that's fine. But yeah, no, I don't like it when people are like, oh, your disease is because you grew up like this, and then it's like something that has zero to do with the way I grew up or why I am sick. And I don't like it when people give health advice when they don't have the actual knowledge to speak on such things, because someone will see that and possibly even believe in it and then hurt themselves. And I don't want that. If I feel a lump in my breast, I will tell you guys that I'm going to have that checked out like I did last year, and thankfully it turned out to not be breast cancer, but I will always speak on my health issues and share that with people in the most honest way possible, because to me it's important to share that information and make someone else at least aware of the fact that we need to take good care of our bodies. So yeah, no, I don't have kids, but also do not ask me personal questions about my personal life, because it's not for you to know. That's my personal life. I'm entitled to a personal life and some privacy. Okay. Okay. let's continue on the new discoveries, because that's at least fun stuff. Okay. Scientists refined dating of ancient cave art using advanced uranium series techniques. Congratulations, Kayun Cook, congratulations. Yes, we will all die. But most people will probably not die in a painful manner like the people with my disease will. Because we will suffer our entire lives. No matter if we are on medication or not, we're just going to be in pain all the time. That's going to be a little pain or a lot of pain. And so yeah, it's weird. That's just... okay. Awesome. Continue. Researchers investigating prehistoric cave art have refined the methods used to determine the age of mineral deposits that form over ancient paintings, providing more reliable minimum age estimates for some of the world's earliest artistic expressions. The team employed a laser ablation uranium-thorium dating technique to analyze thin carbonate crusts that develop on top of rock art. These crusts contain trace amounts of uranium that slowly decay into thorium over time, allowing scientists to calculate when the mineral layer formed, because the crust forms after the artwork is created. The resulting date provides a minimum age for the painting beneath it. That's good. That's good. To ensure measurement accuracy, scientists used a strict calibration sequence involving multiple international reference standards. Each sample analysis began with 3 measurements, each of the NIST 610 and the NIST 612 class standards, followed by 2 coral-based standards, Coral STD1 and Coral STD2. Why that is Coral STD, I don't know. It sounds like a sexual transmitted disease, but we're talking about like dating ancient stuff. Still, when talking about like dating and using things like STD, it just sounds wrong. It just sounds wrong, people. Sorry. Can't help it. I'm a child at heart. What is the point? Why am I reading? So this is my weekly live stream. And once a month, we look at the archaeological discoveries from the previous month. And that's why I'm reading, because I'm reading articles about the discoveries that were made in March of 2026. So yeah. And then I try and make this stream as fun as possible. But you could read this stuff yourself and then not watch my stream. That's fine. You don't need to be watching me if you don't want to. This is just for the people that enjoy going over, like, you know, last month's discoveries and just have a chat, and you can ask me questions. And if you want to know how fossilized footprints are made, like what causes a footprint to become fossilized, then those are the things that I also explain and give some extra insight and information in this stream. So, yeah. Exactly. Dating and using the word STD, it's wrong. It doesn't know. So, okay. So, 2 coral-based standards, Coral STD1 and Coral STD2, when we look at like dating stuff. The sequence was repeated at the end of each sample in reverse order, with additional standard checks every 2 hours. This approach allowed the researchers to maintain consistent instrument calibration throughout the analytical process. The calibration method relied on coral standards to account for differences in mineral composition during laser ablation. Previous research has shown that ages obtained from laser ablation uranium-thorium analysis match those produced through traditional solution-based methods, indicating that potential matrix effects between coral, aragonite, and calcite samples are negligible when measurements are conducted under comparable conditions. One challenge in dating calcium carbonate deposits is contamination by detrital materials such as windblown dust or waterborne sediment. These particles can contain pre-existing thorium 230, which may cause samples to appear older than they actually are. Since scientists cannot directly separate detrital thorium from the radiogenic thorium produced by uranium decay, they apply corrections based on the ratio of thorium minus 230 to thorium 232 in the sample. Higher ratios, above 20, indicate little contamination, while lower value suggest that significant corrections may be required. In this study, most samples showed extremely high ratios, indicating that the carbonate deposits were relatively pure. Researchers therefore applied corrections using standard bulk earth assumptions for the detrital component. So that's good. Another potential complication arises if uranium has been leached from carbonate deposits over time. Such open system behavior would make calculated ages appear artificially old. To avoid this issue, researchers selected dense, non-porous samples and analyzed multiple regions within each deposit. Consistent chronological patterns across subsamples confirmed that the mineral layer remained chemically stable. Age calculations were performed using the geochronology software IsoPlot-R, with results reported at 2 standard errors. Because the carbonate crusts formed after the paintings, the dates represent conservative minimum estimates rather than the exact age of the artwork itself. So that's awesome. I do think that that's a good thing. So yeah. Oh my god, Oak Island. Are they still working there after all these years? No way. No way. Are they? No. Oh my god, it's still like in at least 2025. Are they still season 13? Guys, no way. Oh my god. Oh god, seriously? It's still ongoing? I remember watching the actual first season of Oak Island and they found absolutely nothing, but they framed it as if they were on the cusp of like finding the Holy Grail. That's what oh my. They're still working on there? Oh my god, no way. That's so bad. Oh my god, no, just stop. Oak Island, it has nothing. Nothing. Okay, so I do like this about the more thorough and like new and refined dating technique of being able to date ancient cave paintings, because this ancient cave art stuff definitely needs to be worked on a lot more. I'm actually also working on some cave art merchandise stuff. So like the lions of Chauvet, the horses of Chauvet, things like that. So hopefully I can announce some new merchandise soon. If you know about the merchandise that I already have, that's on historywithkaylee.com, and you can get like awesome stuff. I sell some really awesome stuff, but I am working on more merchandise stuff like behind the scenes here. I might want to do Chauvet cave lions coasters and things like that. So yeah, let me know if you're interested in something like that. I'm also working on a human evolution sweater idea with like some skulls from like ancient, now extinct species. I was quite inspired by Lindsay Nicole's skull sweater. So yeah, working on that. Hopefully soon. The moment it comes, you'll get the announcement in the video. Like, I promise I won't keep it from you, okay? I will not keep merchandise from you. I'm just working behind the scenes. Okay. Next discovery. I hate this picture so much. So this is like a stock photo It's from a whole series of like people dressed as Neanderthals, which is fine in itself. The kid looks okay, the man looks okay, and then they gave the woman a unibrow. And I hate every picture with like this woman inside of it because she just has a unibrow in every single picture, and like half of her teeth are like blurred black. It looks so bad. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. There's no stock pictures I hate more than this woman's face with the unibrow and then the blacked out teeth. For no reason at all. Can't help it. Yes, Time Team, the British TV show, was awesome. I watched the old ones. I haven't watched the new stuff on the YouTubes yet, but maybe one day. Okay, let's get rid of that picture, because, oh, it looks so bad. Sorry. Mini rant over. Okay. Let's continue with our discoveries. New research suggests that prehistoric European societies were preparing surprisingly complex dishes as early as 7,000 years ago, combining fish with a variety of plants and fruits in ways that reflect established culinary traditions. Look at us, being all culinary 7,000 years ago. That's awesome. So Dr. Lara Gonzalez Carretero, part of a team of archaeologists at the University of York, said that the group had investigated food remnants from ancient pottery from Northern and Eastern Europe. Their results, published recently in PLOS ONE, contradict the long-held belief that early hunter-gatherers primarily subsisted on fish or meat and maintained rather basic dietary needs. By combining microscopic analysis with chemical testing, the scientists identified not only the animal fats, but also any plant residues in ceramic fragments. Traditionally, archaeologists have analyzed fatty residues on pottery to reconstruct ancient diets. However, these methods primarily detect animal products. The new approach allowed researchers to identify microscopic plant remains that had previously gone unnoticed. That's awesome. I'm actually a great cook, for the people asking me. Like, I'm actually a really great cook. And when my boyfriend, like right now, he's away in the Caribbean and then he has to eat out or eat on the ship from like the Navy. And then he messages me because he eats the same dish that I make at home. And he tells me that he threw about half of it away because it wasn't as good. And he wants to be home and eat my food. Because I at least understand what a spice cabinet is. Can't help it. Like, I can't help it. Like, I love food, and I very much enjoy cooking, but it has to be, like, I need to taste stuff. And if it's bland, I don't need it. I don't want it. That has no, I don't want it. My spice cabinet is overflowing at this point, and I'm still buying more spices. Can't help it. So our combined microscopic approach allowed us to focus on prehistoric recipes, the researchers said. We discovered that hunter-gatherer-fisher communities did not subsist solely on fish, but processed and consumed a wide range of plants. The study examined organic residues in 58 pottery fragments identified at 13 archaeological sites across northern and eastern Europe. Among these sites were the Don River Basin, the Upper Volga River Basin, the Dnieper-Dvina Basin, and coastal sites around the Baltic Sea, such as that of Dabki on Poland's Baltic coast. The analyses corroborated earlier findings that freshwater fish were the primary component of many meals, and marine fish also played a role in coastal areas. Yet almost 2/3 of the pottery samples also contained traces of plant material. Researchers found remains of wild grasses, legumes, members of the amaranth family, roots, and tubers of herbaceous plants and fruits, such as Gelder roseberries. And one of the most striking discoveries came from pottery fragments found in Dabki, where traces of viburnum berries, both seeds and pulp, were consistently found alongside fish remains. Viburnum fruit, common in Eastern Europe today, has a distinctive bitter taste and mild toxicity when raw, but cooking reduces the bitterness and alters its aroma. That's nice. Scientists speculate that viburnum mixed with fish may have enhanced flavor and nutritional value and improved digestion. The research also uncovered differences between regions in cooking practices. In the Don River basin, fish were commonly cooked with wild grasses and legumes, and communities in parts of modern-day Western Russia frequently used fish along with the stems, leaves, and flowers of goosefoot plants. The discoveries also imply an association between the techniques used to make pottery and the kinds of dishes made in them, indicating that different communities developed distinctive culinary traditions. Researchers say these results demonstrate that regional cooking styles already existed in Northern and Eastern Europe during the Neolithic period, offering new insight into the cultural sophistication of prehistoric societies. So that's awesome. So yeah. Oh yeah, I know why the Navy food is super bland. It has no salt at all. Like, just nothing. But I feel bad for him having to eat it. Because he eats his breakfast and, like, lunch on the boat. And it's like, lunch on a boat is usually a warm meal and not just bread. Like, normally in the Netherlands, at lunch you will eat, like, bread. But on the ships, they do, like, warm meals. And it's so bad. He's just telling me every day about how bad it is. So I feel bad for him. I'd rather be able to cook for him, which is much better. Okay, so another discovery done. Bam! So this is quite young compared to what I normally do, but it's a megalith. So even though it's only 1,000 years old, it's still a megalith. Yeah, exactly, if it's Neolithic, but it wasn't really Neolithic. Like, let me just grab it back here. It was 7,000 years old. At least. For some of them were like 7,000 years old, which is Mesolithic. But also Eastern Europe and... so Eastern Europe went into the Neolithic earlier than like Central Europe or Western Europe did. So you don't have like a straight line of this is Mesolithic and after this time period we go straight into like Neolithic. It is very based on certain areas when they went from Mesolithic into the Neolithic. But also, it's very based on the area when they went from the Paleolithic into the Mesolithic, and thus the Neolithic. So, yeah. It's not like on a global level that happened at the same exact time. Even in Europe, from one area to like the other, there's a complete range of when certain areas stepped into like the Neolithic and started to do agriculture. But also even that shift, not everyone started to do agriculture straight away. It was like some settlements started to do it while others were still living in like hunter-gatherer communities still for like decades or sometimes even centuries. So yeah. They say Neolithic, it's more like Mesolithic, but in Eastern Europe, they went into the Neolithic a little bit faster, so that's probably why it said Neolithic in the end. Yeah. All right, let's continue. Let us continue. Archaeologists identify a 1,000-year-old megalith in central Sulawesi. Archaeologists in Indonesia have announced that a newly identified megalith in central Sulawesi may date back around 1,000 years, adding to the region's long-known tradition of ancient stone monuments. And this is probably part of that megalith, but okay. I don't really necessarily know what I'm looking at, but it's a stone. I can see that. I think we can all agree this is a stone. Maybe. It's not chocolate. God, I could go for some chocolate right now. Should have bought some. I fucked up. It's fine. The carved stone was discovered in the village of Toni Toni in Poso Regency, an area known for its rich concentration of prehistoric megalithic remains. According to archaeologist Iksam Jorimi, the monument likely belongs to a later phase of the region's megalith culture. The megalith is estimated to be about 1,000 years old, Jorimi told the Indonesian news agency Antara on March 7. Central Sulawesi contains one of the most unique and remarkable megalithic collections in Southeast Asia. Many of these structures are found in the Bahoa and Bada valleys, located south of the newly reported discovery. In those valleys, the monuments are said to date back as far as 2,000 years, Jorimi said. Researchers say that the age of the monuments seem to differ according to geographical region. The megaliths appear to get younger as archaeological sites stretch northward from the Bahoa Valley toward other areas, including the Baru Valley. As you travel north from the Bahoa Valley, the megaliths become younger, said Jorimi, who previously served as deputy director of the Central Sulawesi Museum. While the Bahoa and Bada valleys are known for large stone statues and cylindrical stone containers called kalamba, these features are not typically found farther north. Instead, northern areas such as the Baru Valley contain other types of stone monuments and carvings. Examples of these carvings can be seen in locations such as the Watu Nonyu village in Sigi Regency, where engraved stones have been documented by researchers. Megaliths are prehistoric structures or monuments created using larger stones, either as single standing objects or as complex arrangements of multiple stones. Such monuments appear in many parts of the world and are commonly associated with societies from the Neolithic and Bronze Age periods. Also, we see them in the Paleolithic and the Mesolithic. So yeah. Bit weird to just say Neolithic and Bronze Age, but okay. Archaeologists believe that these structures often served ceremonial or symbolic roles. They may have functioned as grave markers, sites for religious rituals, or monuments connected to ancestor worship. The newly reported megalith in Dongi Dongi consists of a large boulder featuring carvings that resemble human faces. Similar carved stones have previously been recorded in the nearby Nap Valley, suggesting possible cultural links between sites across the region. Researchers hope further study of the stone will provide additional insight into the development of Central Sulawesi's megalithic traditions and the communities that created them centuries ago. Okay. I don't see the human faces and stuff, but I'm not sure if that's an actual picture of the megalith. So yeah. Right, it could be a chocolate fugue cake. Fugue, I don't know how to pronounce that. That's fine. I can't pronounce everything perfectly all the time. I'm a bit of an idiot, but that's fine. Like, I'm Dutch. What do you expect from me? Not too much, I hope. Alright, next one. Maya ceremonial platform discovered in Yakshe de Peon. So awesome. The discovery forms part of the archaeological salvage project for the Merida Progreso multimodal railway bypass Front 1, linked to the Maya train in Yakshe de Peon, Mexico. Again, Maya train. I told you that it's just ruining a lot of things. So yeah, they do some excavations, some of the sites, but honestly, it's annoying because I know how much is being destroyed for that railway project. But I digress. I already went into a whole tangent and rant. Let it go. As what's the movie again? The Let It Go movie? I don't really watch Disney anymore. It's probably Frozen? Was it Frozen? Maybe. Sounds wrong. With the Elsa stuff, right? Princess Elsa? I don't know. Probably no one in the chat has any clue what I'm talking about unless you have kids or grandkids that watch Disney. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just rambling. It's fine. I'll let it go. I'll let it go. Fieldwork began in June of 2025 and is scheduled to continue through mid-2026. The project is carried out by a team of specialists from Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology and History, the INAH, under the direction of archaeologist Manuel Perez Rivas. Mexico's Secretary of Culture, Claudia Carril de Icaza, emphasized the importance of the find. Each archaeological discovery allows us to better understand the historical depth of the cultures that shaped this territory. Then stop building the fucking Maya train and destroying so many of the ruins that haven't even been discovered and fully researched, excavated, and like even there's not even like full descriptions of them. Like most people don't know they're there, and then the workers are just destroying them for the sake of making this railway. So like, ugh, it's annoying, but okay. It's so important. Tell your government to stop making a fucking train railway system there. But okay, fine. Indeed, Barry, it's a train wreck. Exactly. Like you understand. So, the ritual context located in the Yashe de Peon offers new clues about community organization, symbolic thought, and the relationship between space, fertility, and sustenance in the early Maya world. The building, designated Monument TC 17294, is a rectangular platform measuring 14 by 10.8 meters and standing about half a meter high. It was constructed in a single building phase with no residential structures above it and was intended to allow access from all sides. Awesome. Yeah, it's a ranty cleat today. I'm so sorry. I'm trying. I'm like really, really trying to like not be like this, but some of those days you just, you can't help it. Some of the days I'm a little bit of a bitch. Can't help it. I just woke up like this. I woke up on the bitchy side of the bed. That could actually be like a quote that someone uses to talk about me. Oh, Kaylee? Yeah, that girl from History with Kaylee? Well, sometimes she just wakes up on the bitchy side of her bed. Sorry. Okay, back to this stuff. These features indicate that the platform functioned as a semi-public communal space, probably serving as an assembly venue where people gathered to make collective decisions or perform ceremonies that fostered social cohesion. Beneath the construction fill on the northern side of the platform, archaeologists identified two ritual contexts believed to predate the structure, interpreted as foundational offerings. They really did this a lot. Like a lot of, like, back in the day when you wanted to build something, you first had to make an offering and put that in the soil underneath where you were going to build in hopes that the gods would then protect whatever it was that you were going to build. So yeah. In the first deposit, scientists uncovered a broken gourd-shaped vessel at a depth of a little more than a meter. In Mesoamerican cosmology, gourd-shaped containers are strongly associated with fertility and sustenance, suggesting the agricultural character of the community. Nearby, archaeologists documented a rock shelter measuring a little more than a meter by half a meter, containing bone remains, possibly from a deer, ceramic fragments dating to the same period, and a marine snail shell. The team determined that placing offerings in natural cavities formed part of ritual practices that symbolically linked the early world with the underworld. So that's cool. This is probably more of that foundation. This could be one of those natural cavities, and then you stuff something in it and you call it an offering, and then you just hope that the gods like you enough to not, completely destroy whatever it was that you were going to build. So yeah. Project coordinator Susana Echeria Castillo explains that the presence of deer remains in the offering suggests symbolic implications linked to Maya belief systems. The deer was associated with human life, seen as a lord of the mountains and a provider of well-being. I'm actually wearing my terrace shirt with a deer. Yeah, I like deer a lot. She adds that the deposition of vessels containing deer remains may indicate that the structure was built during a time of abundant resources and prosperity for the community. Placing ritual offerings beneath newly constructed architecture was a deeply rooted tradition in Mesoamerica, one that continued even after the Spanish conquest, according to colonial ethnohistorical documents. The second ritual context, located 1 meter west of the first, contained a variety of ceramics from the middle to late pre-classic period, additional deer bone remains, and a circular limestone bead. These elements reinforce the interpretation that the ancient inhabitants consecrated the space prior to construction. The deliberate burial of symbolic materials relating to fauna, agriculture, and ritual practice beneath public architecture suggests a ceremonial act marking the foundation of communal life in the area. This discovery contributes valuable information towards understanding how early Maya communities organized space and constructed social identity through ritual activity. The archaeological team also includes Ricardo. Okay. I don't really care about the other people. It's fine. Okay, so we went through that. Okay. Yeah, in some places you absolutely cannot build anything anywhere without destroying something. Like Turkey, especially in southeast Turkey, because there's so much underground. Alright, ancient shipwrecks discovered near Libyan port city of Ptolemais. Archaeologists from the University of Warsaw have uncovered the remains of several ancient shipwrecks near the historic port city of Ptolemais in northeastern Libya, shedding new light on maritime activity in the Mediterranean thousands of years ago. The discoveries were made during recent underwater surveys conducted near the submerged remains of the ancient harbor. The wreck site stretches across more than 100 meters, suggesting that multiple vessels were lost in the area over time rather than a single accident, according to Dr. Piotr Jaworski, head of the research project at Ptolemais. The length of the debris field indicates that maritime disasters likely occurred repeatedly along this rocky stretch of coastline as ships approached the harbor from the east. Over the centuries, the level of the Mediterranean Sea has risen slightly, and earthquakes have also caused the coast to erode. As a result, part of the ancient port infrastructure is now underwater. We found ancient columns, traces of submerged roads, many dropped anchors, and probes used to explore the seabed in antiquity. We will be examining all of this in the coming seasons, said Professor Bartosz Kontny from the Faculty of Archaeology, University of Warsaw, who heads the underwater research at Ptolemais. Ptolemais was one of the largest Greek cities in the region of Cyrenaica, wow, what a name, founded by the Egyptian Ptolemaic dynasty in the late 4th and early 3rd century BCE. The city flourished for centuries before declining after the Arab conquest in the 7th century CE. Among the artifacts recovered from the wreck site was a rare bronze component of Roman balance scales shaped like a woman's head and filled with lead. Archaeologists also found numerous amphorae and cargo fragments, including one container that may still contain crystallized water. Excavations on the nearby Acropolis have also revealed a previously unknown road leading to the hilltop city, along with a Roman milestone bearing a Greek inscription from the Severan dynasty, highlighting the city's prosperity during the 3rd century CE. Oh, that's really nice. I have not heard about D'Artagnan being found in Holland. But I'm also not sure if I am very well known. I don't think I'm very knowledgeable about that part of history. It's like I'm good at Stone Age stuff, but also Doggerland. I've been waiting for this discovery to pop up, because I knew I had it, but I'm trying to do it from March 1st until the 30th. So all these the ones that we've done were the first 2 weeks of March, and all that we still have to go through is the last 2 weeks of March. But as you probably know, I've been working on the Doggerland documentary. I'm sorry, I'm slow as fuck. Absolutely forgive me. Seriously, forgive me. But yeah, okay, so in the past I made 2 videos on Doggerland. One is just an overview of what Doggerland was and why it kind of disappeared. And the other is life on Doggerland, just mostly looking at the plant and animal and human life on Doggerland. I'm having a lot of gaps in the information in both of those videos. So think about like the discovery of Doggerland. How did we know that it was there, and what led to the discovery of it? Why even does it have a name? So what is Doggerland? If you look here, Maasvlakte is from the Netherlands, and Starkar and Boulder Cliff are like England. So England, Ireland, Scotland used to be connected to mainland Europe. So here we have Doggerland, and I can probably use this picture best. So it's an ancient landmass that has now disappeared underwater. The brown stuff is still above water. So like Norway, Denmark, Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, France, England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, here I think, and this is Isle of Man, used to all be connected to mainland Europe. So here, also this, you can see probably a little bit better. But yeah, I'm working on like an actual documentary about Doggerland. I am slow as fuck, but I've also grabbed my Doggerland book again. Most people that have been watching me for a while know that this is my favorite book in the entire world. Can't help it. It's amazing. It's such a good book, but also it's in Dutch. Yes, I am Dutch, but all my work is in English, which means that everything that I'm using from this book as like my source, it's all in Dutch, which means I have to translate it either in my mind or use a translating app. Most of it I'm doing like myself. I don't necessarily trust translating apps that much. My English is good enough, but like there's some words and things that I'm not familiar with, or like I rarely, if ever, use in the English language, or like have to translate that from Dutch, even though even in Dutch I rarely ever use it. You're saying too small to read? Well, here you can see that it really is in Dutch. Wish it wasn't, but they didn't sell an English version yet by the time, like back in the day when I bought this in August of 2021. But this new discovery that they just announced 2 weeks ago will be used in the Doggerland documentary, which is also one of the reasons as to why I'm being so frickin' slow with the documentary. Because that's the problem, even with the Neanderthal documentary. I've been like working on that for like over 2.5 years now. It's still going to take me about 2 more years before the Neanderthal documentary will ever come close to finishing, because so many new discoveries about Neanderthals are being made, which means that I continuously have to rewrite large chunks of my script, because by the time I want to bring it out, I want it to like contain the most up-to-date information that we have on Neanderthals by the time it like airs and for you to see. Same with Doggerland, and then this came. I planned my Doggerland documentary in December. I postponed it to January, February, and March, and then in March we got this. Meanwhile, I'm in like a massive inflammation flare-up bullshit with my disease. So it's taking me a little bit longer. I'm sorry, but I will include this stuff in the Doggerland documentary that will probably air in a couple weeks. I'm sorry. Okay? I'm sorry. It's gonna take long. I'm sorry. But it is coming. So, archaeologists find ancient evidence of lost world beneath the North Sea. The fact that Doggerland was there, we know. It's not really like that. So a vast prehistoric landscape now hidden beneath the North Sea may have supported forests and wildlife thousands of years earlier, because this is where it's important, than previously believed. So new research suggests that Doggerland, a landmass that once connected Britain to mainland Europe, may have been a hospitable environment for plants, animals, and potentially early human communities well before forests spread widely across Britain and Northern Europe. And I think that is the key takeaway here. I spoke about, in my Life of Doggerland video, I spoke about like the massive forests that used to be on Doggerland. But yeah, even before the forests were there, it was probably already a very hospitable environment. The study, led by researchers at the University of Warwick, published in Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, the PNAS, used sedimentary ancient DNA, the SEDA DNA, to reconstruct Doggerland's environment in unprecedented detail. Very good. Very good. By analyzing genetic traces preserved in marine sediments, scientists were able to identify plant species that lived there from the end of the last ice age until rising seas eventually submerged the landscape. The findings reveal that temperate woodland species such as oak, elm, and hazel were already present in southern Doggerland more than 16,000 years ago, several thousand years earlier than indicated by pollen records from mainland Britain. Researchers also detected DNA from lime, Tilia, a warmth-loving tree species appearing around 2,000 years earlier than previously recorded in Britain. Perhaps most surprising was the discovery of genetic traces belonging to Pterocarya, a walnut-related tree thought to have vanished from northwestern Europe roughly 400,000 years ago. The presence of this species suggests that it may have survived in the region far longer than scientists had assumed. To uncover these insights, researchers analyzed 252 sediment samples taken from 41 marine cores along a prehistoric river system known as the Southern River. The sediments, which accumulated over thousands of years, preserved fragments of ancient DNA that allowed scientists to reconstruct the ecological history of Doggerland from roughly 16,000 years ago until its final submergence beneath the North Sea. Awesome. Did people cross Doggerland? Yes. You could just walk from Denmark all the way to the west coast of Ireland back in the day. So yeah. Professor Robin Allaby at the School of Life Sciences, University of Warwick, and lead author of the study says, by analyzing SEDA DNA from the southern Doggerland at a scale not seen before, we have reconstructed the environment of this lost land from the end of the last ice age until the North Sea arrived. We unexpectedly found trees thousands of years earlier than anyone expected, and evidence that the North Sea fully formed later than previously thought. From a human perspective, this is the best evidence that Doggerland's wooded environment could have supported early Mesolithic communities prior to flooding and may help explain why relatively little early Mesolithic evidence survives on mainland Britain today. The research also challenges earlier assumptions about when Doggerland disappeared. Evidence from the DNA record suggests part of the landscape remained above water even after major flooding events, including the Storegga tsunami around 8,115 years ago. Some areas may have survived as dry land until as recently as 7,000 years ago, which is awesome. Yep. Oh no, I don't necessarily need like help in translating. It's just taking me a little bit longer than just going from English to English in my script. Because I go from Dutch to English in my mind, then I write it down in my script, and then it's just certain words that, you never really use in Dutch or in English that you need to like translate. So it just takes me a little bit longer. And I want to do it right, I write everything and research everything fully by myself. So then when I eventually end up filming, I know what I'm going to say. I understand why I wrote it in a certain way. And it's just way easier for me to do it like that, being fully in control of everything. So I'm just weird with this. I'm just a bit slow with everything because I've just been in a terrible flare-up for like a month now. It's fine. So, the study supports growing evidence that small-scale microrefugia allowed temperate plant species to survive northern Europe's Ice Age conditions, helping explain Reed's paradox, how trees recolonized the region so rapidly after the last Ice Age retreated. Was that reed? He's talking about reed there. Now I have to grab the book. Let's see. Clement Reid. Yeah. So Clement Reid wrote a book in 1913 about submerged forests. This is like a whole section in the Doggerland documentary that I've fully researched already, this part. So he did a study to the sunken forests on the coast of England. Evidence for that, this is what that looked like back in the day. So that's a sunken bit of forest. That's petrified wood and stuff. And Clement Reid was the first person to actually really look into this. And he had assumed that there would have been forests or land that stretched out back in the day. And he had no clue. This was just because of the fact that they found some of these old submerged forest stuff in the sea during low tides. He had an idea that may have been going on, and then later on they actually found it in, I think it was 1931, when they actually found a bit of peat, and it had a stone tool inside, a harpoon. So really awesome. But yeah, Clement Reid, he was talking about, so this bit, the study supports growing evidence that small-scale microrefugia allowed temperate plant species to survive Northern Europe's Ice Age conditions, helping explain Reid's paradox, how trees recolonized the region so rapidly after the last Ice Age retreated. So that was Clement Reid and his paradox. The presence of woodland habitats so early in Doggerland's history also raises new questions about the region's importance for prehistoric humans. Forest ecosystems could have supported animals such as wild boar and other game, potentially providing rich resources for early Mesolithic communities long before the better-known Maglemosian culture emerged around 10,300 years ago. So that's good. Co-author Professor Vincent Gaffney at the University of Bradford says, for many years, Doggerland was often described as a land bridge. It was for many years, and that's completely wrong. Only significant as a route for prehistoric settlement of the British Isles. Today, we understand that Doggerland was not only a heartland of early human settlement, but also that the presence of the land mass may have provided a refuge for plants and animals and acted as a fulcrum for how prehistoric communities settled and resettled Northern Europe over millennia. As scientists continue to investigate the North Sea's submerged landscapes, Doggerland is increasingly emerging not as a simple migration route, but as a thriving ecosystem that played a crucial role in the environmental and human history of Ice Age Europe. Always love it when we have something about Doggerland. Really, always love it. And that South River bed was probably this. This is a river coming from the south, so I'm thinking this is the core samples were taken somewhere around there. So yeah, really cool. Okay. Hazelnut shells rewrite the prehistoric history of Cornwall. Radiocarbon dating of hazelnut shells found during excavations at Tribunal Hill has revealed some of the earliest Neolithic remains yet identified in Cornwall, England. The findings extend the start of the Neolithic in the region by at least a century, providing a new understanding of when farming and settled lifestyles first appeared in this part of Britain, nearly 6,000 years ago. So yeah, cool. Cotswold Archaeology. At Tribunal Hill, archaeological investigations revealed very rich deposits of human habitation spanning more than 10,000 years, from the Mesolithic to the post-medieval era. Several prehistoric pits with carefully deposited materials were among the most important finds. One large pit was remarkable in the unusual layering of its deposits. These deposits included charcoal-rich ash, pieces of broken pottery vessels, such as the carinated bowl belonging to the early Neolithic societies, flint tools, animal bone, and beach cobbles. The sequence seems to have been deliberately placed beforehand, followed by soil sealing. Radiocarbon dates of charred. Was that Charles? Radiocarbon dates of charred hazelnut shells from this pit produced dates ranging from 3985 BCE to 3793 BCE, putting the activity firmly in the early Neolithic and among the earliest confirmed evidence for this period in Cornwall. That's really cool. I am thirsty. Whew. No, not fun. Similar results in a smaller pit nearby bore some similarity to this. It had charcoal-rich deposits and charred plant remains, including hazelnut shell, alder, hawthorn, crabapple, and cherry. Hazelnut shells from this feature dated to 3950 BCE to 3760 BCE. The scorching evidence inside the pit suggests it may have been used as a fire pit. The era of the Neolithic represents one of the biggest changes in human history, where societies passed from a mobile hunter-gatherer world to a settled farming society. New technologies, such as pottery, as well as domesticated crops and animals, were introduced to the land. While we don't have readily identifiable structural remains from the early Neolithic buildings at Tribunal Hill, which is the usual situation at the time, the pits themselves provide strong evidence of activity. Their carefully placed deposits may reflect ritual practices. Food remains and pottery may indicate domestic life here. Together, these findings are helping archaeologists refine the timeline of when farming, pottery, and settled communities first reached Cornwall and the wider southwest of Britain. So yeah. Okay. Whew. Excavations in Shedra reveal a 1500-year-old mosaic. A team of archaeologists working in the ancient city of Shedra on Turkey's, this is wrong, it's Turkey, Mediterranean coast has uncovered a mosaic floor dated to 1500 years ago. And I'm also unsure about the pronunciation of this, so let's check. Okay, so it's just Siedra. Okay. Then I can say it as an S. Okay. Just making sure. Just making sure. Hate it when I'm wrong. So, it's fine. And this is just soda stream with Pepsi flavor. That's what I normally drink. I don't always drink alcohol during my streams. In the beginning, I did it a couple times just because of the fact that I get really nervous every time I have to go on camera, whether that's for a live stream or filming or a short or a podcast, doesn't matter what I do. But the moment I have to go in front of a camera, I can get very nervous and sometimes like a panic attack right before, which is fun. You should see me right before I start my live streams. It's not always helpful. So then sometimes an alcoholic beverage helps me a little bit. But most of the time I just drink my soda stream with cola flavor. I don't really need alcohol. So the mosaic measures approximately 4.5 by 4.5 meters and dates to the 5th or 6th century CE. So here you can see. I think this is it. Not sure. Sometimes they show another picture, but this might be the mosaic that they just discovered. This one is really pretty. I like mosaics. When we go to like do the Turkey tour, we have like a museum day. That's like the very first day. We go to the Şanlıurfa Museum. And like right next to the Şanlıurfa Museum, there's actually a mosaic museum. And the mosaics in that museum were found where you can see them today, like in the ground. And they just built a museum on top of it. So yeah. Really cool. But okay. Decorated with geometric and floral motifs, it is inscribed with 2 Greek inscriptions containing playful messages for visitors. One inscription reads, "Use it with joy," while the other roughly translates as, "May the envious burst with jealousy." So, use it with joy and may the envious burst with jealousy. Were they talking about, like, big dicks? I'm just wondering. Sorry. But, like, both of those inscriptions apply. Okay, sorry. This was not a video about, like, this was not Dawn Talk. Apologies. I'll go back to, like, being normal again, as far as I can do that. Inscriptions like these were fairly common in home mosaics from late antiquity. People often used them to show hospitality, express pride in their homes, or ward off bad luck. I mean, honestly, express pride in their home, show hospitality. I mean, we got fun stuff. It's big. Enjoy. Use it with joy. The mix of a friendly and cheeky messages gives a rare look at the personalities and social attitudes of the people who lived there. The mosaic was found during ongoing excavations led by the Turkish Ministry of Culture and Tourism and the General Directorate of Cultural Heritage and Museums. Associate Professor Dr. Ertuğ Ergürer, who leads the Siedra excavation at Alanya Aladdin Keykubat University, says the mosaic was found in what appears to be a large residential complex. "We are excavating what seems to be an important residential building," Ergürer explained. "The structure was continuously modified and remade, remained in use from the 2nd century CE until around the 7th century CE, reflecting several phases of habitation and architectural change during the early Byzantine period. The mosaic is in the building's entrance area and has remained intact in remarkable condition. After its identification, archaeologists carried out conservation and restoration work to ensure the floor would endure." And then there's a whole stuff about Siedra, but that was not necessarily the point of this bit. So yeah, so this was indeed part of that mosaic that they discovered. Really cool, good colors. Even after like all this time, good colors still. All right. Hopefully we can go through. There's like 1 or 2 really big ones. Not sure if I can get through that because I am getting tired. Like that's the thing when I'm in the middle of a flare-up, I get way more tired than I usually do. Like I'm fatigued. My mind just gets so terribly tired. Yeah, I sometimes look at the chat. Yes, I do. Not always, but sometimes. Ancient whale trap discovered beneath Norwegian seabed. So, I think this is a 3D rendering picture of like a scan that they did. Probably, something like that. Marine archaeologists have uncovered a striking piece of Norway's past on the seabed of Øygarden near Bergen, a large, carefully constructed stone formation believed to be around 1,000 years old and likely used as a whale trap. The find offers rare, tangible evidence of organized whaling practices that until now have largely been known only through historical accounts. The structure consists of a long band of stone stretching more than 25 meters across the seabed. It was recorded during a series of dives in January when unusually clear winter waters gave researchers exceptional visibility across the strait. What initially appeared to be a natural feature soon revealed itself as something far more deliberate. According to Elling Utvik Wammer of the Norwegian Maritime Museum, this is the first confirmed physical example of this type of whaling hunting installation. While written sources have long described such methods, direct archaeological proof has been missing. Researchers believe that the stone formation once formed the base of a larger trapping system made from wooden barriers and ropes. These would have guided whales, most likely minke whales, into a confined area where they could be more easily hunted. Historical descriptions suggest that the animals were targeted with crossbows and specialized arrows, possibly treated to weaken them over time, before being dragged ashore once exhausted. So yeah. The scale and effort behind the construction point to a highly organized operation, highlighting the importance of whaling in medieval coastal communities. Whale products, including meat and bone, were vital resources and were typically distributed according to strict social rules within local settlements. Alongside the main structure, the team also discovered a circular stone mound measuring approximately 15 meters in diameter. This feature is thought to be much later, possibly linked to an unsuccessful attempt in the 18th century to alter or block the strait. To document the site, researchers used photogrammetry, capturing hundreds of images with GoPro cameras to create detailed 3D models. These are now being analyzed to better understand how the trap functions. Further investigations are planned for June, with a full scientific report expected later this year. Really cool. Awesome. So like I said, probably a 3D model from like pictures and stuff and scans. Kind of expected that, yes. This was a very long one. Not sure if I'm going to get through that. There was an ancient Ukrainian burial mound that reveals millennia of sacred continuity. This is a 10,000-year-old settlement that challenges traditional views of the origins of sedentary life. I'm actually planning to do a whole deep dive on this one within like the next week or so. And also in that I will tell more about the tour in Turkey that we are doing. So I'm gonna put this one and like park it because I'm already planning to do a whole video on this. So yeah. Then Frozen in Fire, a 3,500-year-old loom rewrites the story of Bronze Age textiles. A fire that occurred approximately 3,500 years ago at the Bronze Age settlement of Cabezo Redondo, located in the municipality of Villena in Alicante, destroyed homes and workshops. Paradoxically, this same fire also enabled the exceptional preservation of one of the most difficult artifacts to document in archaeology, a loom with a substantial portion of its wooden structure intact. The discovery, made by a team of researchers from several Spanish universities and recently published in the journal Antiquity, represents one of the few known cases in Mediterranean Europe in which not only loom weights are preserved, but also associated wooden elements and plant fibers. See, this is what I mean when I'm saying I'm getting like fatigued. My brain and my mouth are no longer in like sync, and that's annoying. Oh. Now that just like that's a symptom that I have when I'm getting like fatigued. Oh, but okay. But also associated wooden elements and plant fibers. The study is authored by Gabriel Garcia Atienzar, Paula Martín de la Sierra Pareja, Virginia Barciela Gonzalez, and Mauro Sant Hernandez Perez of the University of Alicante, alongside Ricardo Basorial, University of Granada, and Yolanda Carrion Marco from the University of Valencia. According to Gabriel Garcia Atienzar, professor of prehistory at the University of Alicante, the fire created a highly specific archaeological context in which the collapse of the roof was crucial. He explains, It created a sealed environment in which the area was suddenly destroyed and immediately buried, enabling its preservation. Beneath the collapsing roof, the loom's components were preserved, including charred timbers, clay weights, and esparto grass ropes. The loom was uncovered during the excavation of a circulation area on the western slope of the settlement. A raised platform containing a dense concentration of clay weights was identified. According to Ricardo Basorial, a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Granada, this evidence enabled a confident identification of the device. Although the loom appeared in a collapsed context and some elements were missing, the compact set of 44 cylindrical weights with central perforations, most weighing around 200 grams, is characteristic of a vertical warp-weighted loom. Alongside these weights, several parallel pine beams were recovered. Some of the thicker beams with rectangular cross-sections likely formed the vertical posts of the frame. Narrower elements with circular cross-sections are interpreted as horizontal components of the structure. Woo! I'm still awake. I would like to sleep, but I am still awake. I'm still here. It's fine. Researchers also identified braided esparto grass fibers associated with the loom and recovered fragments of small cords within the perforations of some weights, likely used to secure the warp threads. This rare combination of weights, wood, and fibers has enabled the team to reconstruct the loom's operation with remarkable accuracy, an unusual achievement in prehistoric archaeology. Archaeobotanist Yolanda Carrion from the University of Valencia conducted a microscopic analysis of the wooden remains. She explains the preservation of the organic materials was made possible by the fire, which carbonized the remains and limited subsequent alteration, paradoxically destroying yet preserving them. The analysis revealed that the loom was constructed from Aleppo pine, a species widely distributed in the region, and according to Carrion, director of the Department of Prehistory, Archaeology and Ancient History at the University of Valencia, the growth rings indicate that the timber came from mature trees with large diameters, suggesting careful selection of material. She adds that the arrangement of wooden elements of varying thickness fitted together and supported against a wall, combined with the presence of weights, allows us to propose a robust hypothesis regarding the loom's morphology. Okay. Holy shit. Way! Holy damn, that's way too much. That's way too much reading. Loom discovery. There you go. For the people that want to watch it. Or like read it themselves. Holy shit. No. It's way too much. Look at this. Look, it keeps going. It's a good article. But like I said, I'm fatigued. I want to, like, this is just, okay, this is short, snappy. Short and snappy I can do. Okay? Holy shit. Can't do the long articles anymore. I have to do those at the beginning normally. But like, no. So, archaeologists document 34 previously known sites in Cajamarca. Exploratory and evaluative research conducted between 2024 and 2025 in the Cajamarca region of Peru has resulted in the identification, assessment, and formal registration of 34 previously undocumented archaeological sites and cultural landscapes. Awesome. These findings were presented by the Ministry of Culture through the Decentralized Directorate of Culture, the DDC, of Cajamarca, reflecting a systematic effort to expand and refine the regional archaeological record. The fieldwork involved documenting 20 sites in 2024 and 14 sites in 2025. Each site was subjected to a structured evaluation process designed to determine its cultural significance, state of conservation, and the technical requirements necessary for its protection and long-term preservation. This systematic approach not only ensures that new archaeological assets are identified and recorded, but also that the site is incorporated into the region's wider cultural heritage management. In addition to identifying new sites, the research highlighted the deficiencies in the delimitation of certain previously recognized archaeological areas. Although some of these sites had been officially declared, they lacked clearly defined protective boundaries, rendering them vulnerable to encroachment and other anthropogenic impacts. In response, targeted technical interventions were undertaken to establish precise site boundaries and thereby strengthening legal protection and mitigating potential risks. That's good. Among the principal sites documented are Huancasanga and El Pastal in Condabamba, El Castillo in Yacanora, Cerro Antivo in Los Baños del Inca, Cerro La Picota Grande in Selendín, Guzmango Viejo in Consumaza, de la Lima petroglyph in San Ignacio, and the Inca stone, the Chontali stele. Collectively, these sites contribute valuable data to understanding of pre-Hispanic settlement patterns, cultural practices, and regional development. I can't really speak anymore. Wow. At least I'm trying. Okay? I'm trying. It's fine. All data generated through this research has been incorporated into the Archaeological Geographic Information System, the SIGDA, administered by the Ministry of Culture through the Directorate of Physical and Legal Land Titling with the Directorate of Archaeological Heritage. This integration facilitates the ongoing updating of the National Register of Pre-Hispanic Archaeological Monuments and supports the continuation of technical procedures required for the formal designation of these sites as National Cultural Heritage. In accordance with Law Number 28296, the General Law of Cultural Heritage for the Nation, the Ministry of Culture, through the DDC Cajamarca, reaffirms its institutional commitment to the protection, conservation, and enhancement of Peru's archaeological heritage for the benefit of present and future generations. Okay. Very nice. All right. Whew. Getting tired. Oh, see? That's what I mean. Like, out of the blue, my body is just like, okay, done. I hate when that happens. I used to be able to, like, stream for, like, hours. And, like, no, it's not working. It's not working. So, ancient Maya nested constructions may have served as marketplaces. Okay. Kind of see that. Makes sense. Archaeologists have identified a distinctive type of ancient Maya architecture across parts of the Yucatan lowlands that may represent purpose-built marketplaces, according to a new study published in ancient Mesoamerica. The research by Ivan Sprajk examines dozens of so-called nested constructions in the central and western Maya lowlands. These complexes are made up of low, narrow, elongated mounds arranged in concentric circles or rectangles, creating a layout unlike most known Maya civic or residential spaces. Sprajk argues that the structures are best understood as a regional form of built market. Their arrangement closely resembles descriptions of marketplaces recorded in central Mexico during the Spanish conquest, as well as architectural complexes at Tikal and Calakmul that many researchers have already interpreted as markets. Okay. I'm not going yet. I'm not reading this entire article and like the next couple ones, but I'm at least like, it's okay. Yeah. Exactly. I'll just pass out at the keyboard. Or not. It's like fine. This is normal for me. Like this is part of having an autoimmune disease and being in the middle of a flare-up that takes about a month. It's just whatever. So, most of these newly identified sites were detected using LiDAR, a remote sensing technique that can reveal buried or overgrown archaeological features beneath dense forest. By analyzing several airborne laser datasets, Sprajk identified 50 nested constructions stretching across a broad area. Particularly, okay, I don't have messages yet. Where were we? Particularly in Campeche, Mexico, because these low platforms are difficult to spot on foot. The true number is likely to be higher. The study suggests that the mounds once supported market stalls made of perishable materials, while the spaces between them functioned as walkways for buyers and sellers. Larger adjoining buildings or enclosed courtyards may have been used for storage or for officials supervising trade. I actually made a video about one of these ancient Maya cities. So the marketplace discovery may not be like in this, but I did cover it at least. Maya city discovered Campeche. So here you have that city, and then here you have that Maya city. Oh, I'm not typing. Maya city marketplaces. And here you have this article that connects to that discovery from like that city. So you can read the rest of this yourself if you want to. So we also have traces of lactose-free milk from 5,500 years ago. Had no clue that they had lactose-free milk that long ago. So, archaeologists have identified a set of ceramic vessels from Sulawesi, no idea how I pronounce that, Kujawi, which provide evidence for the consumption of lactose-reduced milk beverages approximately 5,500 years ago. That's really cool. So, according to experts, these vessels appear to have been associated with special occasions, most likely ritualized feasting practices, and may have been linked to funerary contexts. During the second half of the 4th millennium BCE, Europe underwent significant social and technological transformations. At this time, large areas of the continent, including present-day Denmark, Germany, the Czech Republic, and Poland, were occupied by early agrarian communities associated with the funnel beaker culture. In Poland, Kujawi constituted a major region of settlement owing to its favorable environmental and agricultural conditions. So the funnel beaker culture, they actually created the dolmens in like Germany and the Netherlands. And here you can see what those dolmens used to look like. And nowadays we don't have these mounds anymore. It's just like the remnants of what that once looked like. So in Dutch it's called hunebedden. And these are like the Dutch dolmens. And these are just the skeletal remains of the burial mounds that they once were. And here you can see what those would have looked like. Yeah. But that was created by the funnel beaker culture. So really important culture. One of the key archaeological sites contributing to our understanding of funnel beaker culture communities is the Neolithic settlement at Sulawesi and Kujawi in Poland, discovered incidentally during construction of the Inowroclaw bypass in 2016. The site encompasses nearly 5 hectares and has yielded over 1,000 archaeological features, offering substantial insight into the social practices and beliefs systems of these populations. Recent research conducted by a Polish-British team of archaeologists indicates that these communities were characterized by complex social organization and highly developed tradition of communal feasting. Really cool. Take a sippy sip. The research team analyzing the material from Sulawesi included scholars from Nicolaas Copernicus University of Torun, the University of Lodz, the Institute of Systematics and Evolution of Animals, and the Polish Academy of Sciences, the University of York, and the University of Cambridge. And the findings have been published in Prehistorische Zeitschrift. Over 6,000 fragments of ceramic vessels were recovered from the remains of a Neolithic settlement. And then it goes on for quite a bit. But I do think it was really, really cool. So funnel beaker culture, it goes like a funnel. So instead of like a pottery going like this, do I have anything near me? No, I don't have anything near me that I can show. But like normal pottery goes like this, and then you have the funnel beaker culture, and there, you can see it here. It's like a funnel. Like the top of these pottery vessels are like a funnel. It goes outwards. And that's where they got the name from. So it's a beaker culture, but they were the funnel beakers because of the shape of their pottery. Okay. So, did that. Fun. Okay. Also quite a long one, but I just want to at least like give an overview. Neolithic burial mound complex provides new evidence on corded ware mortuary practices. Recent archaeological investigations in Saxony have identified a significant late Neolithic burial mound complex in the Laubnitz Heath, contributing important new data to the study of the corded ware cultural horizon that lasted from circa 2750 until 100 BCE. The excavation conducted before gravel extraction near Ottendorf, Okrila, revealed 10 burial mounds constituting one of the largest known assemblages of its kind east of the Elbe River. The intervention is part of a planned archaeology approach that underpins the need to analyze heritage before major industrial development is undertaken. I feel like this was written by AI or something. It was at least written really badly, if I'm going to be completely honest. Like, why did you need this word and then assemblages of its kind and then the intervention? It's like, let me use all of the most difficult words just for the sake of the fact that I can, then now I sound smart. Really it was not necessary. Welcome, William, on the TikToks. I know you weren't looking for it, but I just wanted to say welcome. Always enjoy people watching me on the TikToks. So, according to state archaeologist Regina Smolnik, similar examinations of this type in Saxony have previously been so rare that the last significant examination took place more than 4 decades ago. Examination? Don't we just call it excavations or something like that? Why examination? Research. You can call it research. Why do we need to use like stupid words because now we sound smart or something? It's really, this one is just difficult to read now. Mark Milligan, why are you making this? What, how many of these did you write? Yeah, you wrote most of them. Most of them are like normal to read. Also, I'm not going to talk about that one. Ugh. Don't want to talk about it anymore. It's like Levant area, country I don't name on this channel. So like, So, the mounds themselves are well defined and unharmed in a very good way, and the grave goods include ancient ceramic vessels, amphora, and beakers, among others. Among the graves is one with around 20 copper beads, likely constituting... Why constituting? Why do we... What... Let me do this. Other word for. You could have comprise, represent, but no, you use constituting. Likely comprised of a necklace of some kind. That sounds way better than constituting. What is constituting? Why are we using this word? So frickin' unnecessary. Oh my god. Okay, sorry. Can't help it. At least I'm awake again for like another 10 minutes now. In the southwest, there is only a total amount of flint and stones in the earth. Copper corrosion allowed the preservation of a piece of mandibular bone, which is very rare in the soil conditions of which organics do not survive. Yeah, constitute, I understand, but like constituting, not necessary. Comprise of or composed of sounds so much better. Like 1,000 times better. Mortuary practices observed at the site closely conform to established patterns of the corded ware culture. Interments were placed in a flexed, crouched position beneath earthen mounts. A clear sex differentiated orientation is evidence. Male individuals were deposited on their right side with the head oriented westward to the setting sun, while female individuals were deposited on their left side with the head oriented eastward to the sunrise. So, I think this has to do with like life itself as well. So, sunrise is like the beginning of life. Women give life, so therefore it kind of makes sense that the female burials had their heads oriented eastwards because of the fact that women were the bringers of life, and the sun rising is a sign of the bringing of life. So, kind of makes sense to me. Such standardized burial conventions suggest the presence of codified ritual practices and possibly reflect broader cosmological or symbolical frameworks. Despite extensive evidence for mixed subsistence strategies, including agriculture and animal husbandry, settlement sites attributable to the corded ware culture remain comparatively underrepresented in the archaeological record. Consequently, funerary contexts such as the Wujnitz burial field comprise of a primary evidentiary basis for reconstructing social organization, material culture, and interregional connectivity. The corded ware phenomenon is now widely recognized as a multi-continental cultural phenomenon spreading from the Pontic-Caspian steppe in Central Europe to the lower Rhine and Alpine area. The present findings contribute to ongoing debates concerning cultural transmission, mobility, and the technological exchange during the late Neolithic. This was the one time, this contribute was the one time I thought, oh hey, that word was actually correct there. But this was a really, really, really annoying article to read, though. But okay. And then the last one I had was giant megalithic tomb uncovered during housing development in Lublin in Poland. A major archaeological discovery has been made in eastern Poland, where rescue excavations behind housing development have uncovered a megalithic tomb dating back to the Neolithic period, which is awesome. According to experts, the structure is associated with the funnel beaker culture. Again, funnel beakers. Those are kind of, sort of my ancestors. So yeah, that's why I'm like, funnel beaker. I would like, sorry, this is going to be like a small thing, like small brain fart by me, if you will. I would like a heavy metal band called the Funnel Beakers to start existing already. Okay? Can anyone or at least like a folk metal, indie folk metal, something like that. Fun stuff. Okay? I would just like a band to call themselves the Funnel Beakers. Come on, people. Come on. Do it. Right? I would listen to that too. I don't even care what kind of music they make. Just call your band the Funnel Beakers. Come on. Then at least I can talk more about the funnel beaker culture. That's my new username. Cool. Okay, so according to experts, the structure is associated with the funnel beaker culture, the FBC, one of the earliest Neolithic societies which flourished between the 4th and early 3rd millennium BCE in Western Europe. The FBC, the funnel beaker culture, rapidly spread into southern Scandinavia and Poland in what appears to have been a well-organized colonizing venture. These communities were a turning point in prehistoric Europe, introducing agriculture, animal husbandry, and pottery. One of their most notable practices was the creation of monumental grave places, megaliths, gravestones. They refer specifically to large funeral structures made of stone, earth, or wood. Like I said, they created these, the Dutch dolmens, and they were massive, actually massive, and these are just the skeletal remains left nowadays. They were much bigger back in the day, they were big, and they made all this fun stuff. Okay? Funnel beakers. They were awesome. Okay? Cool. Back to the thing. While Northern European examples often feature massive glacial boulders, communities in southern regions such as Lublin adapted their methods due to a lack of suitable stone. Instead, they built timber-based structures known as megadendrons. Awesome. So these consisted of wooden posts driven deep into the ground and covered with an elongated earthen mound. Over time, the wood decayed, leaving behind post holes visible to archaeologists as dark circular marks in the soil. Earth for the mound was typically quarried from flanking ditches, creating long trough-like depressions along the sides of the tomb. The total length of the tomb was approximately 42 meters. Its width on the east side reached approximately a little over 5 meters, and in the western part, the top narrowed to a little over 3 meters. On the southern side of the megadendron, a ditch was located nearly 30 meters long and approximately 2 to 2.5 meters wide, said the Lublin Voivodeship Conservator of Monuments. Okay. Despite its size, no bones were found in the tomb, suggesting it may have been a cenotaph, a symbolic burial site without remains. Artifacts recovered include fragments of pottery and flint tools, as well as partially worked materials from Sikichau and chocolate flint. These finds provide valuable insights into the technological practice and material culture of Neolithic communities. The discovery follows decades of investigation in the area. Nearby excavations on Willowa Street, launched in the 1960s, have identified at least 3 or 4 similar megalithic tombs. Alright, so let me change that to this. And we should be... I made a flint thing there. Let's see. I did this yesterday.
Let's talk about flint. No, wait, not the dibble kind. I mean the rock kind. Not the Dwayne. Oh shit, this is going all sorts of wrong. Okay, let's start from the beginning, shall we? Flint is a type of rock that was necessary for the toolkit for ancient humans. Yeah, not that ancient. So they used flint to create all sorts of things like arrowheads and spears. No, not the Britney, just spears. Oh, okay, oh shit. So the role of flint has been extremely important throughout the ages. Oh wait, actually this time flint does seem to fit. Since I can't seem to get through this, I hope that you at least learned that flint is a type of rock that was made to use spears and it was important in the kit.
So yeah, my humor is terrible, okay? I've got the worst bit of humor that you can imagine, and I make terrible videos. So, okay. I especially like the roll of flint, but okay. I did that. It was April 1st. I was allowed to do something weird. So, get yourself some merch, go to historywithkaylee.com, or consider joining me in Turkey in September. I would very much like it if some of you would join me, and you can get your own T-pillars while you're there. You can get your own Urfa man, which is awesome. Urfa man is cool. Come on, zoom on Urfa man. Stupid webcam. Urfa, zoom on Urfa. It really doesn't want to. Oh my god. My webcam is betraying me. How dare? Right? Oh, I said shit in the beginning of it and I didn't even use the poop picture there. I should have. Oh, it's so bad. But also, more T-pillar. So you can get these if you join me in Turkey. Actually join me. It's fun. I promise. But yeah, I think with that said, we're gonna end the stream about here. I think we did good. We did almost all of the discoveries that had anything to do with the Stone Age. We even covered a couple of Bronze Age and Iron Age things. So, okay. Oh yeah, I'm terrible with my dad jokes. Yeah, those are my favorite. Alright. I had a really great time. What date and how can we join you? Oh my, sorry, you're so right. So it's in September, so you can see it on the screen here. It's from September 13 until 23rd this year. And you can go to thecommunitygarden.org/tours. And then you can click on the Ancient Wonders of Anatolia tour. And I have the link here in the TikTok chat as well. So sorry for not posting it there. I'm so terrible at all these different chats and things. I'm multi-streaming to YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok at the same time. So I sometimes forget the chat or... But yeah, apologies. But highly recommend joining me in Turkey. We are going to Göbekli Tepe, Karahan Tepe, Sefer Tepe, Sayburç. We are going to try and again go to either Harbetsuvan Tepe and Çakmak Tepe, but there's no promises there because it depends on the archaeologists like actually granting us permission to enter. But we are also going to Haran and the Haran University, the Basda Caves, Shuaib, Sokmatar. We are doing a boat tour on the Euphrates. We're going to Cappadocia. We're also, by the way, going to Mount Nemrut and like go and see the tumulus on top of the mountain, which is awesome. So the price, full price for the tour itself is $4,500 US, and it is a charity fundraising tour. So it can be seen as a charitable donation in your tax returns. So you can actually get some taxes back from it if you're in the US. Only works if you're in the US, unfortunately. But some of you are in the US, so you might get a little bit of money back from this tour because it is a charitable donation. We're also going to Cappadocia. You'll see the ferry chimneys, and we're going to the underground city of Derinkuyu. And we are ending the tour all the way near Ankara at Hattusha, which was the ancient Hittite capital. How long does it take? So yeah, it includes everything. The tour takes 10 days in total, but it includes everything except your own flights to get there, to start in Şanlıurfa and to leave from Ankara. So what is included? A 10-day fully guided cultural expedition, expert-led visits to ancient ruins, sacred sites and museums, exclusive access to the off-the-beaten-path locations, licensed English-speaking Turkish guide throughout the journey. All ground transportation, site entry fees and excursions are included. 9 nights of shared accommodations, and you can have a private room upgrade, which is available. And all daily meals, breakfast buffets, lunches, and dinners are fully included. So, yeah. And what's not included is your international or the domestic airfare, because we start in Şanlıurfa, which means that you have to fly to Şanlıurfa, which means that you definitely have a layover either in Istanbul or Ankara, which is not a bad thing. But that domestic flight between either Istanbul or Ankara to Şanlıurfa, that is something that you have to pay yourself. But besides that, everything else is like included. So how many times have I done this? This is going to be my 3rd tour with the community garden, like in this setting, charity fundraising tour. And we actually help the kids in Sokmatar, and we make sure that they can go to school. And so we provide a backpack for every kid in the village filled with all the stuff that they need for an entire school year. So, and we hope to do more, but that depends on how many people will join us, because I don't take any profit, and the people arranging the tour also do not take any profit, because everything goes back into the fundraising and charity stuff. So that's like our main goal. And how many people usually in a tour, and is it in a bus or a van? So we have a bus, but sometimes a van. It depends on group size. Last year we had 3 people that only joined, because we had 5 people that signed up, but 2 people didn't feel okay with joining because of what happened with Israel at the time. Shitty thing happens. And the year before I had 4 people. So I'm not even looking for like massive groups. I prefer a group of like 10, 15 people max. So preferably not too big of a group, but I mean, if there's a bigger group, everyone's welcome. So usually we use like a big van, but we might grab a small bus. Yeah. I mean, there were quite some spaces in this bus, like that they had like multiple benches and everything. So that was good. I'm really tired, guys. Like I'm falling asleep soon. I had a really great time. Thank you for joining. Yeah, so consider joining me in Turkey. Also, look at the merch. It's awesome. We've got some Taştepeler hoodies, sweaters. You've got the map that I created. of the Touch the Peller sites on t-shirts or on the back of the hoodie and stuff. So like this, really cool. So, and yeah, I'll see you in the video this weekend. I have a video coming out this weekend, and also a new video next week, probably early in the week. And of course, next week on Thursday, we stream again, and we might continue with Horizon Zero Dawn. The merch is on, so the website I posted was indeed the Tor, thecommunitygarden.org. That was the Tor website, and the merch is just historywithkaylee.com. So that's a lot easier. But all of it is, both of them are found through my link in like my TikTok bio. You've got a link there. It's the beacons.ai link. You can just click there and then it will bring you to wherever you want to go, either the Turkey tour or the merchandise. So yeah, thank you all for joining. I had a great time. And I'll see you either in the video next, like this weekend, or I'll see you next week in the live stream or next week's video. Okay, have a great evening, and I'll see you all soon. Okay, bye.